welcome to this month's masterclass. This month, we're going to talk about science and how we already have little scientists at home, and how we as providers, our caregivers and parents, we can provide the right environment so that our children can engage in more science play. The good news is that science comes naturally to young children. Toddlers conduct experiments all the time. Dropping objects is a science experiment. Splashing in the bath, it's a science experiment. So your little one is exploring all the time, and learning is happening while they do all these little experiments. So your little one is already a natural scientist. That is the good news, is we don't have to teach them science. They are already making experiments and they are already exploring the world through a scientist's point of view. One of the best things about is just how curious their minds are. Everything is endlessly fascinating, sparking lots of questions about how the world works. This makes toddlers the perfect age to start learning all about science. With science, we will help our little ones' curiosity and problem-solving skills during those toddler years and beyond. So what does our little scientist need? So we have I have 5 things, 5 elements that I think your children need in order to become better scientists during the toddler and preschool years. Children need time, and we're going to go through each of these ones in a little bit, but they need time. They need to have yes environments, and we'll talk about what those are. They need to have a resource and freedom to explore. They need to have space, and they need to have nature. So let's talk about each of those items. Children need time. Children time and adult time are very different things. Adults can process information a lot faster than children, and their thinking is more organized because we have gone through experiences, so we kind of categorize things already, so we can make quicker decisions. Kids, on the other hand, are still processing everything that's around the world. So everything is going to take a little bit longer. New situations, new objects, it's going to take them more time for them to absorb that information, process it, understand it, categorize it, and then decide what action to take next. Remember, the world is a new place for these children. And because their brains are busy developing, they aren't able to make decisions as quickly as adults. So children need time to process the world, right? When you tell them, put your shoes on, it's time to go. For you, it's a very fast process. But for them, it takes a lot of work. There's a lot of distractions that are happening, right? Bright lights and different sounds and a dog barking and a thought that comes to mind are all things that are getting in the way of getting your shoes faster and putting them on, especially if they have shoelaces or if they have a Velcro strap they have to figure out how to put on. So we need to give them time to process everything that's happening around them, all the information that they are consuming through their senses. Remember, children learn through their senses. So they're taking information through all of their senses at once. We as adults are able to filter out the senses that we don't need for a specific task. But children are getting all this overstimulation all the time through all of their senses. So it's harder for them to move at a quicker pace as adults do, or as we want them to. So they need also time for repetition. They need to repeat an activity over and over in order to understand the process and classify the information they need versus the information they don't need as they process all those skills, as if going to the room, finding the shoes, putting them on. So they might not need to listen to everything that's happening around them, but they need to be very aware, look for their shoes. So repetition is key. This happens from daily routines and activities that we present to the kids. So Children need time. Be patient with them. Children need yes environments. So children, some children, I'm not going to say all, but some toddlers, some preschoolers, hear the word no so many times throughout the day. Don't jump on the couch and don't touch that, and it's not time to eat, and no, we're not going to do that. So they hear the word no all the time. So they become very uneasy to try new things because they are already interacting with the environment and they're getting this no's so many times. So they're going to be worried that they will get another no if they even try to do something new because they're getting that no all the time. So we need to have a yes environment, an environment where they can feel comfortable to try those things, to educate, to test those activities, like a safe playroom where they can access all the toys in the matter that they want to explore, or a sensory table outside where they can freely explore, pouring and moving things around, or even a table where they can have the freedom to express themselves through art. They need a place where yes is encouraged and they can be safe to, recreate those activities, like a little play kitchen where they can recreate what mom does in the kitchen in a safe way. They're not gonna get burned, they're not gonna get no. They can't try these things in the real kitchen, so they want to try to play with them in the play kitchen, and they need to have that safe space. So we need to make sure we provide those playrooms where they have that safe environment. Also, screen time. We need a play zone that is free of screens. I don't know, there's a lot of research out there about how screen time hinders learning. You know that children learn through all of their senses. They need to engage all of their senses in order to make connections in the brain. This means that we need things in their hands that they can pull and manipulate. They need to hear and they need to touch and they need to smell, how all the materials that they're playing with interact with each other so that they can make those learning connections. Screen time doesn't provide that. There is no interactivity with it. There is no smell. There is no touching. It's only a visual stimulation. And we already know that there's research out there that the light that reflects from the computers or the screens harm sleep. They affect how children sleep. They affect how children behave. So we want to try to have a yes environment that is screen free, where we put first creativity, where we put first all the senses and engage the senses so that we can provide those learning opportunities for children to create those little experiments, building towers, dumping them out, and things like that a screen won't provide for us. There's a time and a place for screens, and it's not when it comes to learning. Screen time is also a very big source of stimulation, not just screen time, but anything that's overstimulating, like toys that have lots of noise, lots of flashy lights. So I also want to encourage you that your yes environment is a battery-free zone. All those toys that are geared towards push a button and something will happen, push a button and a video will play. Push a button and a light will sound. Push a button and a sound will make. Are toys that are very limited in the way that you play with them, because probably that's the only thing the toy does. So it doesn't encourage creativity and it doesn't encourage problem solving, like having a bucket of blocks. Blocks can be played in many different ways. You can make towers, you can make ramps, you can throw them, you can cover them, you can make so many different things. But a little toy that only has a little light, you push the button, the light comes on. That's basically all it is. So I want to encourage you to avoid toys that are overstimulating, such as screen, such as battery operator, things with flashes and sounds, and instead look for more toys that are going to get your little scientists to make experiments, like blocks or magnets or building things or pretend play toys. Those are going to increase your child to create more of those experiments during their play in a safe way. Children need resources and freedom. What do I mean by that? Children need freedom to explore. Sometimes we are so attached to, or we're so into, I don't want to clean too much, so we give them a little bit of paint and a little bit of glue and a little bit of water. And, they do the experiment and you show them how it's done and it's done and that's it. But instead, if we want little explorers to experiment with little scientists, we need to give them resources. We need to let them repeat the activity plenty of times. That means we need a lot of glue. We need a lot of baking soda. Let's say they're trying to create volcanoes with baking soda and some vinegar. When those two get mixed together, bubbles happen and a little volcano happens. You cannot just give them a little bit and then just have them see it once and that's it. In order for them to make the connections in the brain, they need to repeat the activity over and over. That means you need to have a lot of baking soda and a lot of vinegar and provide that to them so that they can repeat the experiment multiple times until those brain connections are nice and strong and they understand the concept of what's happening, that when they mix those two ingredients together, a chemical reaction happens and volcanoes appear. So don't be stingy with your materials. Children need space. This means, and happens a lot with parents, that we want to teach at them. We want to get in their space. We want to show them all the things that, but independent play is good. We need to let them figure things out on their own. We already know that baking soda and vinegar makes an explosion. And so we're so eager to show that to them. But we are taking away the play and we are taking away the learning when we get in their space and show them all the things we can do with the activity instead of letting them explore and figure things out. They're going to be more engaged with the activity. They're going to have more inner satisfaction when they're the ones that are coming up with the experiments and grabbing one thing and the other and making those discoveries, as if you tell them everything that could happen. So step away. Independent is good. You are going to be the provider of the environment. Like, you're going to be their assistant. If they need more baking soda, if they need more vinegar, it's good. It's healthy. It's needed. So just be their helper. Clean up, if things spill, clean up the tray if it gets too full with vinegar. Be their helper, but let them do the actual experiment. You can do things together. If you want to do your own explosions, you can have your own tray and your own experiment. Same with art. If you want to paint, don't paint on their paper. Don't show them how they can paint on their paper. You grab your own paper and you do your own color mixing and you show them on your paper. And then it's up to them if they want to explore mixing colors and explore that part of science, how you can get two different primary colors, mix them up to make secondary colors, or even mix them all together and make brown. Children need nature. In this very high-tech world, more than ever, we need kids in nature. And I love nature because it's a great place, not only for math skills to be built up, but also for science skills. There's so many things out there about science and nature. So biology is part of science. It's all around us when you go on a nature walk. Testing gravity, it's easier and it's more okay when we're outside if we decide to roll down a hill versus if we want to jump out of the couch. So if nature provides those exploration environments so that they can do this testing. When you go on your nature walks, slow down. Try to view your child from their perspective. Remember what we talked about first, that they need time to explore because they're taking all these senses at the same time and they're trying to categorize and things like that. So we need to slow down and we can narrate what's happening. So, wow, do you see the wind? The wind is blowing on the leaves. And it's making those leaves move. Do you see them go side to side, right? You're showing them, you're narrating what's happening, but you're making it slow. Just so keep an eye. What are they looking at? What is calling their attention? Maybe they're leaning down. They're finding a flower. So then maybe you can talk about the flower and you can explore. Always think about your senses. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you hear? What do you touch? With nature, we don't taste. We keep it safe. Touch it with a stick. So as a recap, we already have little scientists at home. They are already making experiments, and it is our job to provide those environments to allow them to explore more. So remember to give them time, slow down, and let them take their time to do things. Slow down when you do your nature walks. You need to create yes environment, either by creating your playroom a yes environment, as well as when you provide an activity. We need to give them resources and the freedom to explore so that they don't do the activity once, but they are able to repeat it over and over again so that they make connections in the brain. And they need space. They need space. So don't get in their business. Step away. It's hard, I know, but just move to the side, play next to them, and that way you can feel you're engaging them without harming their learning by getting in their space. And nature is a great opportunity and places to explore a lot of the things that science in nature has to offer, like gravity, colors, weather, and things like that. So I hope this was very helpful, but now you can see if your environment is a yes environment, if you are giving your child enough resources to explore the activities, if you're slowing down and giving yourself the time to slow down and be okay with it, and not getting in their space. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you on the next video.